Sorry about the audio here, viewers. We had a bit of wind and bird noise on the day and I didn't really think about it. And so I've tried to fix it up in editing, but I don't really know what I'm doing. So enjoy. Alright, so time to move on to the van. Now this is a 2014 Coromal Element on-road van, aluminium frame, these vans, so a lot less chance of timber rot and that sort of stuff. They do have timber in them though. We've got on-road suspension, but these vans do have like an independent wishbone suspension, so it uses leaf springs but it's still independent. It rides really well. We looked at a bunch of vans, so we were looking for probably 6 months at vans. We looked at half a dozen and until we found the right one. So sometimes there was better vans but not for a good price. Sometimes there were vans for the right price but there were some issues. So don't be afraid to look around. Don't be afraid to make an offer on something that something that you can afford. And if they say no, they say no. Move on. Don't get stuck on a certain van because you'll end up paying too much if you focus on a certain thing. Be open to different styles, different types, different interior. So anyway, let's just start at the front of the van. This is a Grip Sport bike rack. So we wanted to take 5 bikes with us, all of our bikes, but we just couldn't. We couldn't find the right setup. So Tara misses out. Not that I think that bike would have got much use anyway, but my bike doesn't get too much use either, but I still use it. Kids use their bikes all the time. I'm really glad we did bring them with us because they do love them, and it is a way for them to meet new friends. They jump on their bikes, they go ride around someone else's camps, and soon enough there's a bunch of kids riding around together. So very solid, easy to mount, Australian made, good company. It's not sponsored or anything, there's no affiliation, but I just really like the gear, very solid. Something else I've changed here with the van is the jockey wheel. We went to a TrailerMate hydraulic jockey wheel. Again, I cannot recommend this enough. It's a great bit of kit. They're really sturdy. So if you can see, I've got the foot plate on there at the moment. You can change that to a jockey wheel. This also doubles as a high lift jack for your caravan. So you leave this connected to the vehicle, you put a little clamped little foot plate on there, and you can go around to the side of your caravan and jack it up. So it's really smooth, works really well, up and down just with a lever and a pump. Better than those 90 ones. Anyway, that's good. It's a bit of a mess up here. Just behind here, I've just got a diesel tank for the diesel heater, and I've just put a little bit of core fluid on there just to stop rocks and stuff hitting it. I know it's ugly, it works, because there's a bunch of chips and holes in that core flute, and there's no holes in the tank. Alright, come around this way. What else can I show you? So this van does have a tunnel boot as well. It's a little tunnel boot, not like the big tunnel boots you see on modern vans, but it still does the job. It goes all the way through, so you can keep long poles, long everything. This is where I just keep our regular, everyday stuff. So it's the tent pegs and the hammers and the lights and wheel chocks, water hoses, all that sort of stuff. So that sits in there. It's really handy. There's no real, yes, it would be nice to have a big thing, but I don't think we could have taken the weight anyway of having something that's so chock full of stuff. So that's that. Awning. This is Carefree awning, come with the van. It's much the same as any other awning you get. This one here is obviously from a 2014 model. That's the original canvas. The canvas on this has just about had its day. We've been on the road now for 10 months, so obviously it gets used a lot. It's all mildewy, but we're just going to see how long it lasts, and when it eventually tears through on us, then we'll start looking at getting another one. What else? These tables here, very handy. Make sure you get one on your van, or two if you can. Otherwise you can retrofit them to vans as well. So we use this all the time, it's great. Good thing about it is because your van's level, you could be on a hill, you level out your van, you've got a level table as well. So we sit our barbecue on here, but yeah, you can use them for anything. Alright, have a look at this. So this is our clothesline we've rigged up. Now you might have seen elsewhere people have shown me how to put it on, so I'm not going to talk too much about it. But you know, a couple of eye nuts, turnbuckle, some plastic coated steel cable, and you've got yourself a washing line that stays up here all the time. Now you might not think that that's an important thing. You get on the road, having something like this that's set up all the time is fantastic, really good. And then when we need extra lines, we just get a bit of rope, tie more up, tie it to a tree, tie it to the car. Can't have enough clotheslines. Around the back. So, rigged up jerry can holder. So we keep an extra water jerry can, so our drinking water, it lives in here, and we just move it in and out of the van. And I've got the same thing as you saw on the car, the little push button tap. It just sits on top of the jerry can. We've got fresh drinking water, and we don't need to then worry about how clean the caravan tanks are, how, you know, if we fill up with a bad load of water, we can always run into town with our jerry can and get some more water. Spare tyre on the back, just a Keegan's dirty gear bag. We keep in here just our sully hose and a few little chocks and bits and pieces. Does the job. They're actually quite tough, and it was cheap. I can't remember, but it was cheap. Have a look at this. So this here, probably half full of water. This here is our grey water tank. So we don't have a fitted underbody grey water tank. So this is a portable one. It's on wheels. Put it under here, captures all the grey water. Definitely need it when you're staying in free camps, council free camps that are on tarmac. Some are very, very strict about it. They'll come around and check. So we've actually got a hose that goes between our waste output and this tank, and it just captures all the shower water and take it away and empty it off site. So then you don't get any grief from people. This is just a easier option for us, because not only was it just a bit of a stuff around to put a grey water tank under here, but this one here, I can take it away, empty it and come back, rather than having to hook the van up to tow the van somewhere else to empty it. So I think they're great and cheap. This is a toilet cassette in there, self-explanatory. Water filler. So this van came with 2 water tanks, and I've actually teed in a 3rd water tank. So the 2 water tanks are in front of the axle here. I'll put a 3rd water tank behind the axle, and the 3rd water tank just gives us that extra amount of capacity to stay somewhere longer. So I think we've done, what, about 6 nights, bub? Yeah, 6 nights. Yep. And that's having showers every night. Like we do conserve water, but we're not crazy about it. So we have a shower every night. We wash ourselves. We do the dishes. You know, we're clean people. But so 3 water tanks. You can't have enough water, and I think anyone will tell you, water. So whether you have water in the car or water here, and that's probably one thing that we'll probably do in the car, is I'll probably get a water bladder for the car, because it's nice to be able to drive into town, get some more water and come back and fill the tanks up again. So that's something to think about as well. At the moment we've just been getting by with this, and it's fine, but if you want to stay somewhere a couple of weeks, then you need to be able to cart water back and forth. That's just the outlet for the gas hot water system. These work really well. You just take the cover on and off, and this is the other end of that tunnel boot. It's a little bit smaller door on this side just because there's a hot water system there. Now, you won't be able to see it. Hold on, cut, because Tara's just
Sorry.
stood on a bindi. Oh, they look sharp.
It's spiky.
Ah.
Sorry.
Alright, come back around
That
here so
really
I'm not
hurt.
looking into the sun. Well, not too much anyway. So, probably can't see. I'll probably show you a cut to a shot of the solar panel. So, one of the big things that we've done here is we've added extra battery capacity, and we've added extra solar capacity to this van. So that allows us to be able to stay off grid now. It's been, now for where we are, we're in WA, and it's been probably a month since we've hooked up to power, do you reckon?
Oh, I think even longer than that now, yeah.
So we don't need power. We can go 2 or 3 days of no sun. We've still got enough battery capacity to get us by. We get a sunny day, we're charged up by 10 o'clock in the morning. So it really takes the stress off. If most people that we've met along the way, especially people that are just starting out, we always hear people having issues with their batteries and their solar. You know, their batteries, their power's running out through the night, things are cutting out, they're not able to run their TV, or they just are having issues, not getting enough sun for the solar. So the more battery and the more solar you've got, now the system. So at the time, I could not justify a lithium setup, the cost of the lithium setup. Now they've actually come down a little bit now. I'd still umming and ahhing, but at the time, lithium batteries were about $1,000 each, and I got 2 AGM batteries for $500. So of the same capacity. So we went with AGM. Yes, they're heavy. We've just had to take that into account for it in our overall weights. Now, I use a Victron solar controller. It works really well, Bluetooth to your phone. Again, they're relatively cheap for what they are. Solar panels. I've got 500 watts of solar on there, and they are eBay 250 watt panels. So 250 watt panels from eBay. They were $90 each, which is just ridiculously cheap when you compare it with other big brand name panels, or you go to a shop. And I've tested these panels. Now they are 250 watt panels. They probably tested about 200 watts each, which I bargained for that anyway, because I knew the size of them and I knew they weren't going to be putting out 250 watts, but they put out 200 watts. So I've got 400 watts of solar on there, and it was a lot cheaper than any other setup. The build quality of the panels is great. They've now been on there for 10 months, not had an issue with the solar panels at all. So actually, tell a lie, I did have an issue with the solar. It wasn't the solar panels though, it was the way I mounted them. So I mounted the panels on PVC mounts, PVC plastic mounts, and Sikaflex those mounts to the roof. They appeared to be glued down really well, but over time that glue had just separated from that PVC, and I've since learnt that really nothing will bond to PVC. So I've actually changed the mounts out to an aluminium mount, and now they're stuck. They're never coming off. So they're on there. They're good. They've lasted the full trip. So you know, you can shop around for panels. You don't need to go buy the most expensive, because the odds are they've probably come from the same factory and they just got different labels or whatever on them. So you can get a decent solar and battery setup without spending $10,000. Yes, we can't run the air conditioner off the solar panels. Yes, we can't, you know, run our microwave and an induction cooktop and all those other things. But we do have an inverter. We run the washing machine. We charge our tool batteries and vacuum cleaner and all that sort of stuff. 1500 watt inverter, and our battery setup runs that fine. We're just not using that inverter 24 hours a day. We just use it when we need it, and everything else is 12 volt, and we don't have an issue with anything else running out of power. I don't think we've ever run out of power overnight. So that's two 140 amp hour AGM batteries. So you just got to be smart with how you use it. Now, what do you reckon, Bub? Do you think I've explained pretty much everything about the outside of the van?
Yeah, I think you got everything.
Now, we did take this van to the tip of Cape York, all the way. That's what I'm going to show you actually. So we took it, and these are rough corrugated roads, 1,500 kilometres all up, and the van performed outstandingly. It was really, really good. Yes, if you have a look closely, there's stone chips. There's all stone chips in the drawbar. You're going to get that on any van. I've got a few little, chips and bits out of stuff underneath. We did have a wooden stake shoot right through the floor. Just drove over it. I didn't film it, so it's not in our actual
Got
cave.
a picture though, we might be able to add in.
Yeah, I'll show you the picture of that. And if you do want to learn more about going to Cape York in a caravan, then we do have a video on that as well. I'll try and tag that in here somewhere over here. The other big thing that we did is crossing the Jardine River, very, very steep, and we scraped our stabilizer legs. So the back of the caravan scraped, grabbed on the stabilizer legs, that's in the video, and ripped them right off. So if you have a looky over here, somewhere in the back, I actually had to, we absolutely destroyed the stabilizer legs. I think we destroyed 3 out of 4. Rear 2 at Jardine River, the front bottomed out on something, on a dip or something. So I got back to a station, borrowed an angle grinder, cut those stabilizer legs off, went and bought a set of these, just portable ones, and they work fine. This was just gonna be a stopgap just to get us by. I actually really like them. They're really light, they're easy to use. The kids put them out anyway, so I don't care if it takes longer or shorter. But they work, and they work in all conditions. I can just put 1 or 2 out, or all 4, and all 4 of these together weigh about 5 kilos, and the legs that I cut off, all 4 together, would have been about 50 kilos. So that's, extra beer I can carry on board, so that's
the important stuff.
Yeah, exactly. So when you're talking about weights, and we're right on our weight limit, that to me was a good weight saving. All right, I think that's about it. Yep. That's about all I want to talk about on the outside of the van. One day when we've cleaned up inside, I'll do a video of the inside of the van.
I don't think that's ever going to be as clean as what we'd like it to be, but we'll try.
No. We'll you have there. A look. That's the thing. We were waiting so long to make these videos, waiting until the car was clean, or the van was clean, or we were somewhere that we weren't just on the side of a road somewhere, and it's just never going to happen. So at least we're not on the side of the road. Yeah. We're in quite a nice place, but nothing's clean. So take it how it is, and you have to get used to living on the road. Nothing's ever going to be perfect. You can't go wash the car every day, so you just got to live with things how they are. But anyway, I'll stop rambling on, and we'll try and show you the inside next time. All right, see you later.